Hi everyone, Lakshmi Om here from the Flourish Center for Somatic Healing, continuing our series on the foundations of embodiment. Today we're going to talk about containment, support, and capacity. From the somatic perspective, capacity really refers to our ability in any given moment to meet and manage and move through our experience in our daily life. So we may have a lot of capacity with extra to spare. We move through our day with ease, facing the challenges that come. Or there may be times when we don't have as much capacity. Imagine getting a phone call late at night from a friend who just wants to chat after a long day. And you just don't have it. And then it's perfectly okay to say, I don't have it, can we talk tomorrow? So in terms of trauma, we look at how the event is related to your capacity at that time. So somatic experiencing from Peter Levine, Dr. Peter Levine, really says that when our system and our capacity is overwhelmed by an event, that is where that event may be traumatic. It may have some stored trauma in our body. We may not have successfully completed a defensive response, a flight response. We get a little stuck. And then that in turn may turn into triggers or physiological or mental or emotional symptoms. So it's really important to have awareness of your capacity and learn how to increase your capacity at any given time. It is directly related to the state of your nervous system. When we're in fight or flight, when we're in shutdown, when we're in overwhelm, we have much less capacity than when we're safe, curious, confident, socially engaged. So I'll include today some exercises for increasing capacity. And it's related into the idea of containment, which is the first topic I mentioned today. Containment really means, for me, the way I describe it, it's like, how big is your box, right? You know, when we get really focused in on something, or we're really turning something in our minds over and over, it's like we have this little tiny box and it's our head, right? And we completely lose awareness of our body. Like, we're not very embodied at that moment. And when we increase the size of our container, we're increasing our capacity as well. Imagine you have a cup of cranberry juice and you pour it into a gallon of water. Well, the whole gallon of water is going to turn red like the cranberry juice, right? So the cranberry juice is the problem. The gallon of water is your container, your capacity, and the cranberry juice just overwhelms it. But imagine taking that same cup of cranberry juice and pouring it into the ocean. Very little effect at all, right? So the bigger our container is, the greater our capacity, and the more able we are to meet what life brings us. So another aspect is the idea of support. We love to be independent. We love to be able to do things on our own. But we are social animals. Our systems are meant to connect. And it's really important to be able to move into the experience of feeling support. And so some of us as children might not have had a lot of that. We might not have had someone who was really there for us. So moving into the idea of support might be a little more challenging, and that's okay. In somatic work, we really work with feeling things in percentages. So anytime I might say, feel into the back of your chair, that's feeling into support. But I don't mean with all of your attention and feel it 100% and at all. What if you could feel it 5%? and just be with that for a moment. And then maybe can you soften back into the chair 1 or 2% more. What this does is it enables our system to make small shifts within our realm of capacity. And then we settle for a moment, and then we can make another small shift, like going up and down the rungs of a ladder. That's how Deb Dana describes it. She's a student of Dr. Stephen Porges. I highly recommend watching any of her videos, reading her books, and any of her tools and materials in your journey. We'll include all of these things in different emails as we go along. But if you want a deeper dive, definitely recommend her information, Deb Dana. So we want to make these small movements up and down the ladder. So let's come back to the chair again. Just sit back into the back of your chair. Just that. Just lean back. Or your couch, wherever you're sitting. And just notice what happens when you do that. Notice that your back is supported. You don't have to hold yourself up. Notice if your body really wants to. Nope, I'm good. Right? This was definitely something I had to practice myself. And I give it to every parent and every teacher and every mental health therapist that I work with that comes sees me as clients, because it's really important when you're working with others and trying to help others to feel support. So now see if you can soften your back into the back of your chair 1 or 2% more. That's it, just a tiny bit. As an invitation, never force. Just invite it. Can I? What would it be like if my back softened into the chair a little more? Good. Noticing how your hips are supported, your thighs in the chair. Notice your feet on the floor. The floor is there. The chair doesn't move. This is support. A part of you may really love this and recognize, wow, I could enjoy a little more support in my life. And a part of you might struggle, and that's okay. Both can be true. We want to hold space and be able to be with both. And that's why we feel into our capacity. Do you have the capacity for 1 or 2% more? Anywhere into your body. Can anywhere in your body soften into the support 1 or 2% more? And notice what happens in your body when you do that. Notice if your container feels any bigger, your awareness of yourself in space feels any bigger. If you feel any more able to meet life, any less stressed, any more calm. So in that one exercise, we worked on support, containment, and capacity. So now let's even move into an even bigger container. We've already done orienting, right? Looking around the room. What I want you to do is imagine like you have antenna and you can just reach out and just become aware of the walls around you. How big is the room you're in? Can you allow your awareness to travel through the whole room? Maybe start with the walls to the sides first. Walls front and back. Like, oh, I am in this larger space. You know, I felt a shift because, you know, I have my attention's in the screen. Screen is small. Oh, suddenly my awareness has spread and I'm aware of more around me. Right? Ceiling and floor, above and below. Right? I'm aware of my cats running around the room right now. You can hear them. They may make occasional appearances, right? So notice now that your box feels bigger. The space you're aware of, yourself in space. I have more space, right? That's why people love nature so much, because we can feel into the spaciousness. I used to live in a downtown area that's very crowded, very jam-packed, very noisy, never really got quiet. And I would reach a limit of like, I have to go sit in the woods. Luckily, they weren't very far away. So I'd go sit in the woods and then just see how many trees I could feel and how far I could extend my attention and my awareness to, it's like decompressing my system, increasing my container, support, and capacity. Right? Feeling into the earth and the floor is really important for that too. Right? Recognizing that there is something there underneath us. So if you're not in a chair, you can just view it standing. Recognizing that you have all the air in the room to breathe. What kinds of support do you have in your life? We have air, oxygen, light, food, home, work, but also relational support. Who are your allies? Who has your back? And I like to do an exercise with that of just imagining them all around you. At any time, they don't have to just be from now. It could be your first grade teacher. My first grade teacher was awesome. She's one of my allies. I think of her. She's long since gone, but she still holds a place in my heart, and I could still feel her support and belief in me. So she's one of my allies that I can close my eyes and imagine them around me in various locations, some closer, some further away. That's sort of using my intuition and seeing what feels right and who I might want closest to me because of their particular ability to support me. So maybe just do that for a moment. Close your eyes. Try not to think too hard about it. Just set the intention of inviting in those who have had your back. Even animals, they have their own special way of being there for us. And notice what happens in your system as you do this. And notice again, if part of you appreciates it and part of you struggles with it. Work in percentages. Can you let one molecule of this support in? Can you let one molecule of it come within 2 feet of you? If it can't come in yet, that's okay, but how close can it come that you can feel comfortable with, and just work there. Over time and with practice, you'll be able to receive more and more of this support. It's really helpful, especially if you struggle with these kinds of practices, to get one-on-one support. So if you want to practice more one-on-one, if you're struggling, if you meet anything that is uncomfortable or scary, just reach out. I'm here for you. I'm happy to work one-on-one, either Zoom or in person. Just make an appointment for a free consult if we haven't met yet. The Flourish Center, Somatic.com. And I'll be happy to work with you and help you, because we heal in connection. We heal in support. Having somebody that is there just for you, that I've got your back, I'm there for you. That alone is reparative. We don't have to do it by ourselves. Thanks so much for listening today. As always, journal, write down a few bullet points of things that stood out for you, things that felt helpful, things that felt challenging. And as you do this over and over again, you come back to the videos, you'll see how things change. and improve for you. All right, remember the Flourish Center, somatic.com, Lakshmi Om. I'll see you next time.